Let's talk about how to disidentify with the mind. More specifically, disidentifying with your thoughts. Because really that's what we mean by mind. Mind is thoughts, thought activity. And really, it's just a stream of thoughts, right? It's like they're always just kind of flowing, right? Now, the fastest way to identify with your thoughts is to stop thinking that they're your thoughts. When we believe them to be my thoughts, then it's very empowering the ego, the separate identity of my thoughts. It wants to take ownership, own the thoughts, possess the thoughts. I have some good thoughts. Yes, that thought came from me. I am the thinker of the thought, right? So the fastest way is just see them as thoughts. Just kind of realize that everyone has thoughts. Everyone is experiencing thoughts. Just see them as you are experiencing thoughts instead of they're my thoughts. Because it's that possessiveness, that ownership, that then there must be the owner of the thoughts. The separate self that then owns those thoughts. The separate self that then, oh, that's my thought that claims that's my thought that came from me. Aren't thoughts just appearing? Don't they almost seem very random? They are, aren't they? Right? You're thinking about ice cream and all of a sudden monkeys and then bananas and then it's kind of, how did I get there? Right? I'm just swinging from branch to branch, right? The monkey mind. But you see how fast it is when you take away that possessing of the thoughts. When you stop identifying, those thoughts are mine. Watch how fast. Watch how fast you feel a new sense of freedom. That the thoughts are just there. But when you take away they're mine, when you take that possession away, that there's someone there to claim possession over the thoughts, you just see it more of how it is, that there's this infinite space, that then the thoughts are just coming and going. Across that infinite space, in that infinite space, made up of that infinite space, arising in that infinite space. You are that infinite space. But the thought then that I think this thought, these are all thoughts that are arising in this infinite space. So you see that when you start taking away that possession, that possessiveness, you also disempower that separate self, the ego, this mind-made sense of self, the doer, the thinker. You disempower it. The thoughts aren't taken serious anymore. Right? Things in life are really serious when it's yours, right? There's a bunch of cars out there, but when it's your car, well then then it's more important. It's more serious, right? A lot of women out there, men out there, but if it's your husband or wife, then see, there's a greater sense of importance, right? There's a greater sense of importance. Then there's this identifying with it. There's an identity there. So the practice is just simply just trying to change that, practice changing that perspective, see it as they're just thoughts. They're just thoughts. They're just coming and going, right? They're just thoughts. They're just coming and going. It's like you're just kind of standing back, watching a stream. You're not saying like, that's my fish, as the fish are going down the stream, right? It becomes more important when you start claiming that they're your fish, right? It's just a stream of thought. It's just flowing. And when you sit back and you just watch them, they don't have any power. They don't have any power. There's no importance because they're not important. You're not invested in it. Because you're simply just saying they're not important anymore. You become less interested in it. You become not so interested in the mind, these thoughts. You're not entertained by them anymore. You're not invested in them. You're not interested in them. You're not taken away, swept away by them. You're there watching. Huh. Okay. Just watch them come and go. Watch them appear and disappear. Now, this takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to do, which is really a not doing, because the doing is actually possessing the thoughts. The doing is the thinking of the thoughts. The non-doing is just being. Just be. Let the thoughts come. You just simply be. Watch them. Just witness them. Right? It's like a witness of the crime scene. The witness of the crime scene, they're not doing anything. They're just watching. They just saw what happened. Right? It's the criminals that were involved in the crime scene. They were doing something. Right? You're just witnessing. Just witness the stream of thought. Just watch the fish in the stream. Just watch the stream flow. And you notice that actually, one, like I said, is there's new sense of freedom because you're not in the stream getting wet by the thoughts. You're on the bank, right? You're dry. You're not touched by the stream, right? So new sense of freedom with that. New sense of calm, tranquility, because it's like when you're in the stream, it's like you're creating all the splashing. You're making it way more turbulent than just the stream itself. It's actually just a very calm stream. But when you're in the stream kicking around, splashing around, right, going crazy, you're creating a lot of turbulence in the stream and commotion, right? When you're out of the stream, oh, interesting. It's much more calm now that I'm not in it. Now that I'm not in there making a mess in my mind, I'm just simply standing back and watching. And they're just thoughts. You can see, just even if you say it to yourself, my thoughts, or they're just thoughts. You see one's got, it's got this power, this weight to it. The other one, it's kind of like, there's no interest in it. But it's my thoughts that then seem, I'm thinking, my thoughts, right? So you just kind of, you'll see that like with practice, it'll even change like how you even mention things. You won't even say like, oh, I was thinking this. It's like, you'll see, I saw this a while back, right? Is you'll just see like, an idea popped in my mind, or an idea popped in my head, or a thought just came up, right? Because it shows just that level of seeing that shift has happened, that it's exactly what happened is, yes, a thought did just pop up. Yes, this idea just came into the mind, right? So like I said, you'll start noticing that sense of freedom from the mind. You'll start to notice that calmness. It's a tranquil stream, right? It's not like when you're in it splashing around, it kind of feels like it's noisy, right? Like whitewater rapids when you're in it, but you're making all that rapids and the splashing, right? Or it's a very soothing, tranquil stream when you're not in it, right? You take out the possession, which then disempowers the thinker, right? Because if there's a thinker, then there's someone's thoughts. What I'm saying is take out that whole possession activity, because even that's a thought. And then you'll start seeing just how freeing and how tranquil it is. And you'll start seeing that it'll change, and you'll notice this just even when you kind of talk to other people. There won't be this like big thinker, big ego behind it. As my idea. I want you to know about it. I came up with that, right? Right? Someone give me an award, would you? It's just kind of like very, and people might even, that's an amazing idea. How did you think about that? Wow. I wish everyone just thought like you. There's like no one there to claim. It's like, I don't know. It like just, it's kind of like it just shows up like on a whiteboard. It's like it's there, but it's like it's being written for itself. When there's the thinker, there's the I thought this idea. I'm the one that came up to the whiteboard and wrote it. Versus it like it just appeared and you saw it. And you're just kind of, something's there on this big invisible screen of the mind. Right? There's just the awareness of the thought. Something just kind of popped up. Yeah, it's like you just kind of communicate it, right? And then other people are like, man, how did you think that? Right? Like as if like you're really thinking it. Right? It's like no one is. They're just there. It's just everyone's popping up. Every thought's just popping up for everyone, right? So that whole just taking out the juice of the ego, that possessiveness, right? You'll find that it changes a lot of things. And that's what I found to be very empowering, is taking back that power, right? Because that's kind of what we're doing, is you're, instead of empowering the thought, you're just taking back that power. And you're empowered instead of empowering the thought, right? So that's a pretty effective practice for disidentifying with the mind, disidentifying with the thoughts. So give it a shot. I'll see you in the next one.